up some ham and then ground it together with ground beef because we're gonna make a ham loaf today. We need to start off with our brown sugar glaze. I wish I would have made this video sooner so you guys could make it for tomorrow, but if you can't make it for tomorrow anymore, just save it and put it in your reminders to make it next year for Thanksgiving. For the brown sugar glaze, obviously our main ingredient is brown sugar, so we're gonna put that in a little saucepan because we need to bring it to a boil. We also need to add mustard, and yes, I'm using homemade mustard. Then we're going to add some white vinegar. Our last ingredient for the glaze is water. We just stir that together and then take it to the stove and let it come to a boil. While that's coming to a boil, we're going to mix together our ham mixture, which is our ground together meats and some eggs. I'm also going to be making Amish dressing or filzy in this video. It's stuffing, but we always call it filzy. After you've added eggs, we're going to add breadcrumbs, and yes, this is breadcrumbs that I made from the bread I made myself. Then we have some paprika, add some black pepper, or in this case we have ground white pepper. We have some pink Himalayan salt. Then we add milk. You add milk instead of your usual water for meatloaf because yes, this does resemble meatloaf. Our brown sugar glaze has come to a boil, so I'm going to add some of that in there as well. Now we just knead everything together until it's nice and mixed. Once you have it all mixed together, put it into a loaf pan. I'm using this one from Pioneer Woman. I use so much Pioneer Woman stuff. I love it. Make sure you pack it in there nice and evenly. Now that it's all packed in, we stick it in the oven uncovered to bake it. And after it's been baking for 30 minutes, you start basting it occasionally with your brown sugar glaze. For the dressing, we need to beat up some eggs. I have one small egg left, and then I'm going to move on to the others. I always get my eggs from our farmer neighbors. I don't remember the last time I bought eggs at the grocery store. I always just use my handheld egg beater and beat those up. You don't want to beat them up till they're foamy, just till they're beat up. Once they're beat up, we're going to add milk to them. That wasn't funny. I would recommend using whole milk. We also need to add chicken broth. I just realized that in the instructions in the cookbook, I didn't say when to add the chicken broth. You just add it with the milk. Now we add a bunch of seasonings and stuff. I'm gonna start with salt. Also, dressing is not necessarily a Thanksgiving dish for the Amish. They eat it pretty much every time they have company, which is a lot. And they don't usually eat it on Thanksgiving. Sometimes, depending what family it is, they might. We would because we liked it, but I know we didn't do it every year. We're also going to add some black pepper, or in this case, ground white pepper. You're supposed to add dried rosemary, but I don't have any, so I'm not going to bother with it. And then we have some chicken-based powder I got from Orthington Farms. Whisk that together until the seasonings are nicely whisked in. Then we have vegetables. We have some cubed potatoes, diced carrots, diced celery, and some chopped chicken. And I boiled that stuff together until the vegetables were almost tender. You just put that in there. At home, we used the canned filzy mix, which was those vegetables and chickens just all canned together. That made it really handy to make this stuff. And then last but most important, I would say, is add dried bread cubes. And these are best if you use homemade bread, but if you don't have homemade bread, dried store-bought bread cubes work just fine. We're just going to punch them down a little so it's mixed together. You don't want to stir it long. Then we have a pan with some brown butter in the bottom, and we're just going to pour this in there. That brown butter in the bottom makes it so good. Now you stick this in the oven to bake it, and it takes around an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to bake this. I just pulled our beautiful ham loaf out of the oven. I'm going to let it sit here for at least 15 minutes, and I'm going to take it out of the pan and slice into it. It smells divine. This thing has been sitting for a while now, so I'm going to take it out. Now at home, whenever we would make this, we would use homemade ham. Today I used store-bought. One of these times I'm going to show you guys how to make a homemade ham because it is so delicious. It's not particularly easy. It's kind of easy, but it takes a couple weeks to make one and some equipment. I'm gonna slice into this and hope it tastes and looks as good as it smells. I also still have some of that brown sugar glaze in the bottom here, so I'm just gonna drizzle it over the top. This is what our ham loaf looks like. It looks beautiful. The texture is perfect. It's also still very hot, but let's take a bite and see if it's good. Oh my goodness. This is over the top. It is so delicious. It is such a good addition to Thanksgiving. I hope you guys try this. Whether it's Thanksgiving or not, just try it. It would even work good for, instead of glazed ham for Christmas, you can make a ham loaf. That would be delicious. Once your filzy is set, it's done baking. So I got this out of the oven a little bit ago. When you get it out, it should be all puffed up and then it'll settle down like this. And this got a little brown. At home, whenever it started to get a little browner than we wanted it to, we would put a piece of foil on top to finish baking it, but I forgot to check it. So it got a little brown on it and I wish it would have. But we're gonna dish some out and see if it's any good. I know it's gonna be, I just wanna show you guys. But this is what it looks like. I have never made any filthy or dressing or stuffing that was not this recipe, so I don't know how this compares to what you're used to. I've never looked up recipes, but I do know that the pictures I've seen look way different than this stuff. Let's take a bite and see if it's any good. It is hot, but it hits the spot just like every time. This stuff is so good, I can eat it raw before I put it into the oven. I can easily eat it. And I know when we used to make it at home, I would have to watch myself so I wouldn't eat it all before we put it in the oven. I know a lot of little Amish kids don't like this. I have no idea why. I have always loved it, so I didn't understand that. But I do know a lot of kids are like, ugh, filthy. I don't get that because I've always loved it. I hope you guys try making it for yourself and see if you like it. If you want the ham loaf recipe or the dressing recipe, they're both in my cookbook. The print one is out of stock right now, but if you want the cookbook right away, it is 70% off in digital. The digital version is exactly like the printed version, except it's a digital PDF, so you just download it and have it on your phone or tablet. You can add it to your Kindle store. That is available on my website, socialsbylavina.com, which I've linked over here on my profile, or depending what platform you're on, it might be in the caption of this video. You can also just go to your browser app, open a new tab, and type in socialsbylavina.com, and the website will pop up with the digital one on there. The physical one is on there as well, but it has a notify me button instead, so you can get a notification when it comes back in stock. Because of the holidays, that might be a little while yet, because it sold out so fast again last week when we restocked that our printers can't keep up. Also, if you guys want a little tips video on what to do with Thanksgiving leftovers, I can post one tomorrow. Just let me know in the comments. Enjoy!